Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Well, today I'm going to take the new Potensic Dreamer 4K, I use quotes for that, brushless GPS drone up now for a closer look at this drone. Now, it's not really a 4K video camera, it's only a 2.7K at 30 frames per second. It takes 4K photos though. You can see it's got these dampeners. It looks like a gimbal drone, but it's actually not. It has a one-axis motorized, sounds like a brushed motor to do your tilt, but that's it. It doesn't have any stabilization, unfortunately, so that's kind of a bummer for this cost. It's around a $300 drone, but boy, if you look at this drone, you'll see some similarities to something else. Look at the controller and the build of this. This has got to have it. FIMI's got to have their hands in on the development of this. This looks very similar to the FIMI X8 SE controller. The build and the look of this drone is very similar to the original FIMI or Xiaomi 4K and 1080p Mi drone. So I feel like they have definitely got their hands in on this. The build quality feels wonderful on this thing. I just feel like if it was a little cheaper, this would be a great drone. Hopefully it'll come down in price because it just doesn't have any stabilization on the camera. So again, this will be the review out here in the field since I can't do it at home right now, being in between places. So I'll just go over as much as I can here on this drone, and then we'll get it bound up to the app and get a screen recording going and get you guys some footage with this. Now, it does take an SD card and you pop it in here on the top. I need to format that card still. It should work, but it's out on my action camera. A class 10 should be fine for the frame rate and resolution, but that's a SanDisk Extreme in there. It's got a light here in the front. It's got lights underneath the arms when you turn it on. It uses a really big, in terms of voltage, a 4S LiPo, which is really unheard of for an Amazon drone. So I think it's a 3000 milliamp, I want to think it is. Yeah, 3000 milliamp hour. This is a 4S LiPo high voltage battery, so pretty impressive. It's got lights here to show you, and you can't see it now. It's fully charged. It's not a real true smart battery. The app is really nice, the Potensic Pro app. So that's the app that you want to use. I'll try to put a screenshot of that app up here. It does show the battery voltage in the app, but it doesn't have like any discharge days or anything, so it's not a true smart battery. So make sure you do run it down and don't sit around fully charged. It'll probably puff up on you. It did ask me to do a compass calibration, and I did it just to get into the app, but I was in my house, so I'm going to do another one out here because there was a lot of metal inside the house. It's not an ideal place to do a compass calibration. Now, it uses 5G Wi-Fi. It does not come in through the controller through a cable to your phone like the FIMI. So you're just going to be on a 5G Wi-Fi. That's good. 5G is good for good transmission in terms of bit rate, but 5G even still is not going to have the best range. So I don't expect this thing to have really, really good range. Again, the app is really nice. I went through it. It just got all kinds of features. It does have smart features as well for a GPS drone. And I just was really impressed with what I saw from the app and my glance over the app last night. So that should cover the basics here of this drone. I think they advertise this at like, 31 minutes? It's had a really long flight time. So that's also impressive for that battery. What we're gonna do is go ahead and get it bound up here, do a compass calibration, and get it up in the air. So let me get to that, guys. So I'll stop the video and we'll be right back. All right, guys, so I have the Potensic Dreamer out here on the ground. We're gonna get it up in the air now. So what I wanna show you here first is you wanna go and you connect to your Wi-Fi. So I've already connected to it here. I did it a moment ago. It's a Potensic D1. If you click on that, you'll see it is 5 gigahertz, has a link speed of 54 megabits per second. So I cancel all that. And the app you're gonna go to is the Potensic Pro. I'll try to remember to put a screenshot of that app up here for you guys. And there we are inside the app. We already bypassed the main screen because I was just in the app a moment ago. Let's just verify we are connected by picking up the drone, and we can see we have a live feed moving, so that's not a still shot or anything like that. And what we're going to do now is we'll go in here and do a compass calibration because it did not ask me to. So you click these 3 dots, and I think it's down in this bottom. One of these here has it. Let's see. Compass calibration, the second one down. Just click on start calibration, give me 2, and then click OK. And it's going to want us to rotate it. So I'm going to set down the controller, and I'm going to rotate it. One can do like 2 circles. And it still says, now I think it says, now do, but I think it's face down. The lights are changing too. You see those green, 2 greens and 2 reds. And I think they'll all go solid when it's done. Let's see if it is. Let's see what it says now, if I got it done or not. It looks like it is. Let's try that again. I want to make sure we get that right. It's hard to see out here, guys. So we got, looks like we got 1 green. Well, we got the greens flashing. Now is it telling me? Now it's telling me downwards. So let's try that, and hopefully it passes. And it's gone back to start calibration, so I think we're good. Let's set it down now. That's what it did last time, but all right, let's go ahead and see if we can get back out of the app. We'll see if it toilet bowls, we'll just land it and do it over again. Because I said I did it in my house, my parents' house, I should say, indoors in the basement. That's not going to be ideal. So there we go. We got the compass calibration. Those are always super simple. They've really improved upon that, even the toy grades. Compass calibrations used to be sometimes flaky, and you had to do circles or weird things, and you get dizzy doing it. All right, so what we're going to do, we'll try to test out a long flight time. We'll test out, since I'll try to make this more of a full review of this, so we'll try to test out at least some of the smart features. I'm going to be doing 1080p at 60 frames per second. Now it has, let's see, here's the EV on the right dial. I'm going to put that at 0, but here's to the left. This one will let you tilt. At least it's supposed to. There we go. It's choppy because it is a brushed motor gimbal. It's not going to be smooth. We'll take it up here and we'll test out some of the stuff. Again, I'm going to do 1080p at 60 just to sync it up with my head cam footage from my Osmo Action. You can do 2.7K at 30. It does not, again, it does not, like I said, I'll go do 4K video. It'll do 4K resolution photos, which are probably upscaled. It is an 8 megapixel Sony CMOS sensor in there, which is really, that's good. But I don't think that probably doesn't have the capability of even doing 4K. It's probably a bit upscaled. All right, anyway, let's go ahead and let's take off. It does have a sport mode here. I'm going to quickly go over the controls. You got your takeoff and land. I think you have to press it down 2 seconds. Here's your return to home. You can click it over into sports mode here. I'll try to test that out. And then of course you got the dials, like I said, with the EV over here, the gimbal here. You got photo, video on those back buttons here. And up here on the top is where your little gimbal sticks are stored, which is really nice. You take those out and screw those in. So let's go ahead and let's start recording some video. Oh, the SD card's not ready. That's right. Ooh, I got out of the app. Let's go back to the app. And what you do is, if you switch into photo mode, you go click the 3 dots, not the 3 dots, excuse me. Click on the settings. And it's got format SD card. And it's finished. Now we should be good. Let's switch back to video. And now we're good. It doesn't give you the format option, I don't think, in the video, but it does it to you in the photo. That was in my action camera, so it was not ready. Let's see if it will record now. And now it does. Perfect. And let's go ahead and let's get it up in the air now. So let's hold down for 2 seconds the auto takeoff. Pretty quick to take off. That looks to be holding really nice. Look how stable that is. No toilet bowling, no circles. So the compass calibration was good. Always make sure you do those when you're away from any metal. I gotta say this is more stable than the Fimi X8 SE 2020 in terms of rock solid holding position. I have no doubt Fimi will get that resolved on the 2020. It's not like it's bad, but this is really good. So there we are recording. Now you can see some wobbles because that camera's not stabilized and there's no electronic stabilization either. But yeah, I like how this flies really smooth. Boy, if this thing had a gimbal on it, it would be really awesome. I know Jay over at Jay Drone did put a gimbal on his, but he still had some jello and some issues. Now I do have some 3-axis gimbals that are really well tuned, and if I get the time, I may try to do like he did, to slap mine on and see if I have any better luck. Because man, this thing with a gimbal would be nice. You can just see those wobbles. I don't see any jello. If there is, it's not really noticeable. But that lack of stabilization. This is more going to be a drone that you're going to probably want to go take photos with. Since I'm already recording video, I'm not going to mess with photos probably, but ideally I probably should have taken a few photos to start out. But those photos are probably just going to be, you know, an upscale 2.7K video still, essentially. So, all right, before I take it out here, and there it's kind of breaking, and those cheaper drones tend to do that, but it almost looks like it's toilet bowling. Let's flip it into sport mode. Let's show you guys here. That's full speed in regular mode. Let's see what sport does. I don't know if sport's going to turn off the GPS or not. Excuse me. Let's put it in sport, and now it's still holding position. And you can see, yeah, look at that. That's more pitch. That's faster. And there it's braking when you let off. So the GPS is definitely on. Sometimes these drones almost look like they're toilet bowling when you brake them. Yeah. So if you fly this drone out of ways and you want to bring it back, and especially if you're fighting a headwind or you're afraid that you're getting low on battery, put it in sport mode. The problem is this drone's not going to have the kind of range that you're probably going to need to haul butt back. You know, I just flew the FEMI X8 SE 2020 out a mile after my review was over, of course. And this one's not going to come anywhere near that with the Wi-Fi 5G. All right, well, I'm going to go ahead and flip it back to the regular mode just because it ought to be a little, the video shouldn't be as tilty, I guess you could say. Let's fly it out here a little ways. We still got 86% battery. Fly it up higher here. I'm up about 18 meters. There it is. I'm not going to really do a range test, especially with this 5G. You can see it tilting, but the camera, I mean, it looks good. Beautiful day today, though, to fly or just do anything outdoors here in the Midwest. This time of the year, it can be really miserable. So what I think I want to do here is I'm going to park it right there for a moment. I'm going to take it out and we'll do a return to home and see how that works in terms of its accuracy here. I took off basically on this handicap parking symbol. So we'll see how accurate that does. There are settings in here in the app. Let's see, we've got beginner mode is off. I had set these altitude limits. I have a hard time seeing here in the light. If I set them the other day, they should be good. You can set those up pretty high if you want. But let's go ahead and I'm facing towards me, so let's turn it around. Let's fly it out while we got plenty of battery. Send it back home, see if how well it does. And then we'll try to get in here and test some of these smart features. Again, you can see all that wobble, and again, that's just because there's no stabilization. All right, I'm out 100 meters. Let's go ahead and press the return to home. Now it's turning around. Let's see how good it does. Can it do as good as the FEMI X8 SE, which I was only 2 feet off, but that drone needs a landing pad for precision landing, which I thought, but I wasn't sure. So that it did really well despite not actually using precision landing. So let's see if I can back up, guys. Here it comes. Of course, we're not coming from very far away, but looks like it's going to be pretty good. Boy, it really comes hauling down. I noticed that in Marcus's video. I would prefer to see the drone come, hover a second, gather itself, and ease itself down. That's a great way to have it tip over and then busted props, especially if a wind gust came along. So that's far from ideal landing speed. But hey, that is really good for GPS only. There's no precision landing. It's not taking a picture of the ground. It doesn't have ultrasonic sensors on the bottom and stuff to help it know where the ground is. It's just using a barometer and the GPS coordinates. So that was actually pretty darn good. So let's go ahead and set it down here, and I'm going to stop recording video, and let's go in and test some of these smart features now and see if we can do some of those. You can set the circle radius and stuff in the app, which I believe I already did that, but let's go ahead and into the smart features, and let's try a circle, waypoint, follow me, and a virtual controller is different. Let's go ahead and click on, let's go ahead and get it in the air first, and then we do the follow me. So we're not going to worry about any video now. That should have been enough sample footage, guys. You guys, hopefully, let's see if I can, let's do a gimbal tilt. We didn't really need to test that. See, I got my RD's drone review shirt on today. Let's take it a little higher and I'll show you the gimbal tilt, since I didn't really do that. It's going to be a little choppy. Some of that's the Wi-Fi, but a lot of that is just the brushed motors in that gimbal. That's pretty typical for these. That's as far down. Let's see. Well, yeah, it'll go all the way. There it is, facing all the way down. So let's walk underneath it and look up. Oops. There we are. Almost bumped the landing button. Have it come down, land on my head. All right, let's go ahead and put the camera back up. Yeah, it's less than ideal. It's toy grade in terms of the gimbal tilt. It reminds me of the toys that are motorized. All right, let's go ahead and aim it towards me. Let's try that follow me. Let's click on the controller symbol, click on follow me, and let's see if I can see what to do here. Okay, let's see. Wait, it's kind of shot forward there. It's following me. It's following my controller. Boy, let me back up. It's following me. Let's back it up some. It's almost too close to me. It really took off. Let's see if it follows me now. That may have canceled it when I gave it the sticks. Let's try it again. Follow me. Boy, it jets up. Look how close it gets. I don't like that. I didn't see the setting for follow me, and that's really on top of you. It's following me, it's working, but I would like to be able to set it at a distance and then it follows you from that distance. But no, it wants to follow about 6 or 7 feet behind me, which if you don't, let's tilt the camera down. If you don't have the camera tilted down, you're not even going to see that's following you. See, now let's turn this way and see if it turns. Yeah, it's kind of there. It's kind of turning. It's fighting that wind. Yeah, it turned itself around, but overall, pretty sloppy follow me mode. It's backed off some now too. But boy, it really likes to fly itself up close to your phone. It's using the GPS in your phone. Yeah. Let's just click the red X here, and that that cancels it. Yeah, let's fly it over this way. I don't see why you need to use that. That's going to be too sloppy for anything particularly good. It's just too close and too choppy, and it's wobbling all over the place. They can fix some of that through updates, because believe it or not, this drone, which is for a Potensic drone, especially, you know, something on Amazon, you don't see a drone have firmware updates. This actually does. I did a firmware update last night. Pretty small. The app tells you it's there. You download it and it flashes it through the 5G Wi-Fi to the drone. And it actually did a firmware update to the flight controller for me last night. So that's cool. So that's a positive. If they want to tune this flight controller more, especially for like that follow me, they're going to be able to do that through the firmware updates. These kind of drones, you don't typically see that option. So I was super impressed. And again, I really like this app. So let's go, let's try circle flight. Let's click it again. Let's see what it does. I'm going to give it some altitude. Well, I think I canceled it. Let me see if I can bring it over here. I'm going to cancel it. I want to get it higher, guys. I don't want to have it bang into something. Let's take it up. Let's take it back. I think I have it set to like 10 meters. But again, it's hard to see here because of the glare. Click on circle flight and let's see what it does. It should go in a big circle over this point. It's rotating. Let's see what it does. There it goes. It's going to rotate in a circle around that spot where I told it to. It doesn't do it around you unless you fly it out and you stay in the center. That's actually a pretty nice circle. I gotta say, compared to how sloppy the follow me was, that circle me is actually really nice. You can see it here in the video. I just got a screen recording going here now, guys. So I'll include that. It's going to be similar, though obviously the SD card footage won't have any drop frames. Otherwise, 1080p at 60 is what my screen recording set at, so otherwise it'll be the same. It'll just be a little better quality. Yeah, that's nice. So I like the circle me, don't like the follow me. I love how this drone flies. I'm going to hit the red X and confirm to cancel. Now I'm not going to mess with waypoints. You could do that as well. Those are the 3 smart features. There's no droney, you know, like the FEMI and the Mavic Mini and the DJI drones have. There's no dynamic tracking or active tracking like my Evo and the DJI drones have, where you can send it, you can have it follow an object by the app. They could do that, where you'll draw a box and they can follow it. That uses, you know, advanced technology with the app to follow the object on the screen. And some of those, I mean, my Evos works great, and the DJI stuff works amazing. And the Skydio, which of course also can do it with the wand, but this drone doesn't have that ability. But again, they could add that. It certainly would be possible to do it. But as bad as that follow me was with the GPS, I don't know how good that's gonna be. Oh yeah, it flies nice. It's got I'd say a butter smooth yaw. So that's good for filming. Let's take a, this new action cam's heavy, it keeps pushing down on my nose. Let's take a picture or two now that I stopped recording. Let's flip it over to photo mode. Let's see if we can take a picture of me. Let's tilt the gimbal down a little bit. And let's take a photo. And let's look up a little bit and take another photo. So again, I think, you know, photos are not likely to catch any kind of jello wobble, or, I mean, as long as you have it stable, this drone should be pretty good for taking some pretty nice photos. I think photos are going to be pretty good. Video is not going to be what you want. It's just going to be too tilty and wobbling around, and it just doesn't serve a purpose for most people. Unless you're just a beginner and you're not worried about stabilized, you just want to get some video. That's always neat when you just started getting into drones. Let's go ahead and land it. There we go. Just keep holding the throttle down until the motor's cut off. So yeah, when you first get a drone, I remember when I first got one about 4 or 5 years ago, and just seeing an aerial video was just amazing, no matter how wobbly you're. But once you get used to a stabilized gimbal, coming back to something like this is rough, because you just got all that tilting and wobbling. But overall, the camera's pretty good on this thing from what I've seen. It's just, it needs a stabilized gimbal. And what I've heard through the grapevine is that Potensic is going to release a gimbal drone, and I can't wait, because even a 2-axis gimbal on this thing, as long as that gimbal worked decently, would make this a really nice drone. All right, guys, so that wraps up the review of the Potensic 4K, I would say 2.7K Dreamer GPS, brushless GPS drone. Hope you enjoyed this review. If you are interested in this drone, and you may be someone who only buys from Amazon and doesn't want to buy from overseas because of the long wait times and the less than stellar customer service compared to Amazon, then I'll include a purchase link to this drone in the description, along with any coupons I might get. But last I checked, this was $299, and that is awfully pricey. But you know, it might be good for you. If you have any problems, you can obviously return it, even if you get it and you don't like it. I think Marcus did that. He bought his and he just didn't. He was so disappointed because he thought the gimbal was stabilized that I think he ended up returning his. All right, guys, that wraps up the review. Hope you enjoyed it. If you have any questions, be sure to ask me. Click that bell so you know when I do upload a new video. And as always, guys, have a wonderful day.
The power of the dark